Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
This video is our This Is Us reaction for the season 4 finale. This is where if we had a bullhorn, we would blare it right now because there are spoilers all throughout this video.
So many spoilers, we're talking about it all.
We have a lot to piece together, things to explain. I mean, we know now who the mother is of Kevin's babies rather than just baby. That is one twist. We also know more about the Kevin Randall feud.
Yep.
Wedding ring spottings. Siblings we didn't know about beforehand.
There is so much to unpack, and we're going to unpack some of it in this video, but we will also, I know that this is the season finale, but we will have more videos coming up this week because some of these things need a little bit more discussion.
Yeah, there's probably about like 4 hours worth of thoughts that are just all within this, but this video will not be 4 hours. We will put that out there right now.
Yeah, we promise. No, we're not doing that to you.
No, this is just the first reaction, and we just watched the episode, so we're still like simmering on it. But before we dive in and discuss anything further, if you do like this discussion, remember to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and ring the notification bell because that's where you will make sure you don't miss any of the other updates that we've got coming up. Okay, so there's a lot of different places we could start.
Yeah.
But I think we've been lingering so much on the Kevin question.
Yes.
I think that we now know that Madison is the mother.
This is not shocking to me. I thought that she was going to be the mother when they started kind of dropping that whole conversation that Madison had with Kate a little while back about what happened and being with Kevin and sort of this idea that Kevin has seen her at her worst, where she didn't have her makeup on, she wasn't together, and a bit more of a natural relationship there than necessarily I gotta be on my best, be my best, sort of a little more of a fakeness to it, that he's able to see past that because she's been able to be a little more natural. And then we had that drop from Toby that was like, oh, Madison's not going to end up being my sister-in-law, is she? Ha ha ha. Well, here we are, folks.
Yeah, like they did telegraph a lot of this, but I feel like This Is Us is also like trying to have its cake and eat it too with all of this, because they're sort of like, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and reveal that Madison is the mother, but technically they didn't actually give really anything else away because we have not seen Madison in either flash forward.
Nope.
And I think it's safe to presume that at the birthday party, the woman who Kevin is speaking of is probably Madison.
Yes.
Unless we really want to go completely just berserk here and be like that he's got some other fiance, but if that was the case, wouldn't we have seen that kid too?
Yeah, I just feel like it's Madison. The timing works out. I think that whole scene where they were sort of talking it out and he's like, listen, I do want to be the father. I want to be part of all of it. He's been talking that he's ready to kind of settle down, find his person, have some kids. Now here it is. And I know him and Madison don't know each other that well, and they both kind of recognize that. It just feels like, even though Madison keeps saying, I'm not your great love story, I know this isn't the great love story you wanted, because everybody out there is hoping that he's going to end up with Sophie. It's just not happening right now. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. We did have sort of these little flashes of, oh, here's Cassidy over here, talking to Nikki. And, and here's Sophie seeing Kevin's crazy billboard. All that sort of stuff. So they're reminding you that there are still other threads out there.
Can I just say, I don't know if Kevin's billboard would make me want to buy that. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not giving that a 10 out of 10 on the advertising.
I love Sophie's reaction when she saw it and she just started laughing.
Yeah, that is the appropriate reaction, by the way. Sophie would be me if I was in that situation, too.
So, I mean, yes, I think that Madison is probably the fiance at the birthday party at the cabin. But then we're looking, years into the future where Kevin's kids look like they're probably about, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something like that. And he's wearing a wedding ring. Now, a lot can happen in 10 years. Is it possible that he did just settle down with Madison and they actually got to know each other and fell for each other? Absolutely, that can happen. I mean, they're going to have a bond with that, like nobody else, where they've got children. And so it's possible that that is the case. But a lot can happen in 10 years. So it is possible that maybe he didn't marry Madison. Maybe he did marry her. And they ended up not working out, and he is married to Sophie. We just don't know yet. But we do know that he's married to somebody because he's wearing his ring.
Yeah, a lot of wedding ring talk to have in this video.
Yeah, there is.
The thing I'm kind of coming back to is that, did they really call Jennifer Morrison, who has been a star of a big-time TV show, and was just like, yeah, Jennifer, so we need you to come on and appear for just one random scene in the finale that has no bearing on anything in the future?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? I mean, do we know that it doesn't? I mean, probably they just wanted her at least back for scenes because we did see all three of the strangers from the premiere. So we needed her back. It's nice that she was able to come back for that. Do I think we'll see her in the future? Probably. It seems like her and Nikki still have a friendship and some sort of a relationship. So they're still sort of helping keep each other on track. I think she'll be around. I'd like her to be around.
Clearly, they do not want us to forget that these other people are still there. And this is what, I mean, it's like they want to resolve one mystery, but they're still like, oh, by the way, we're not committing that Kevin's going to be with Madison forever either. So now you guys just got to stew on this for the next, like, however long it's going to be, potentially 6 months or so at least. And that is a lot to swallow. I do like the fact that Kevin went all in on being a dad at that very moment. That was a nice evolution, and I know we'll get to the Randall side of things here in a minute, but I appreciated that. I appreciated seeing him still being a good dad, seemingly, to these kids, in the flash forward by Rebecca's bedside, where we do end up seeing them.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not mad about this reveal. Like, Madison has grown on me over the seasons and getting to know her, and this whole thing of seeing her at the doctor's office and the doctor being like, listen, you've been here 3 times by yourself, like, why wouldn't you give this guy a chance? She's being very real about this situation, which is something that not a lot of people would sort of have that much self-awareness of, like, listen, this is who I am, this is who Kevin is, we don't really know each other, I have made this decision. Like, she's handling this in a way that originally I would have never expected from her, because she's always been kind of like here and there and, a little bit flighty, a little bit, crazy and all these different things. Mm-hmm. So to see her come and have this conversation with Kevin where she's like, listen, this is where I am. This is what's going on. I know we don't know each other that well. And because of that, I'm not expecting anything from you. I just wanted to let you know where we're going. That again endeared me to her even more, where she's not trying to push him one way or another. She's really letting him make his own decision.
I think it's a great evolution for that character. I think it's a cool way to present her further in this story. Obviously, there's a lot more to tell with Madison. Can we talk about, I don't know his name, so I am going to call him Dr. Horse for a little while now, where they spent all this time with this dude and the horse, and I mean, who I'm guessing is his daughter, and I was just like, all right, I was like looking at the settings, I was like, is this the future? What's going on here? I was like cultivating all these sort of theories, and it's just like, oh no, this is actually just Madison's doctor. This is the finale. You made me spend like 4 minutes dealing with Dr. Horse.
Yeah, the finale, it liked to clown us a little bit with that, but I mean, this show loves red herrings. That's why it's like, oh, so we see that Kevin and Madison are having some kids together, and we know that maybe he's engaged her a couple months later, and here's Kevin married 10 years later. It's probably not Madison. I mean, this show really likes to throw a red herring out there like Dr. Horse.
Dr. Power Rankings, Dr. K or Dr. Horse? Who's number one?
Oh, Dr. K.
Yeah, I know. Clearly, he gives us the musical interludes here. Dr. Horse just has a horse. That's all I really know about him.
Yeah, and it was good to see him back as well and sort of see what was going on in the past. And that they, we had Jack and Rebecca actually talking about Kyle and the loss of their child, which is something that they hadn't really talked a lot about on the show. I mean, they lost a child and there wasn't a lot of grieving or talking or really anything. So it was good to have an episode where that was coming out.
Yeah, I think that was some of the more emotional stuff of the episode. I didn't know how they were going to bring in Dr. K again, but he's just like such a source of sage wisdom. Seems like this man has gone through a lot. I'm glad that he was back. I know it was kind of a brief appearance, but I think it was sort of important and kind of setting the tone for an episode that it really is all about kids in a lot of ways, no matter what timeline or time period you're in. I mean, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It's everywhere, and it's sort of that idea of, your future and your legacy and what you're going to leave behind and what type of world you want to leave behind for your kids. This was really all about the kids.
I'm not ready to rip off the emotional Band-Aid yet of Kevin and Randall, so I'm going to keep dancing around that for a couple of minutes.
All right. Well, let's talk about baby adult Jack. We need to find another name for him. Let's just call him
Jack.
Jack. Okay, so
that's not a good name. But...
No. Okay, so adult Jack. We see that his wife is giving birth and that this is a really obviously big moment. Mm-hmm. We learn that Kate and Toby ended up adopting a daughter. So they decided to expand their family. Jack's got a sister, and so that was pretty cool reveal. It was awesome to see her there at the end. This, again, sort of opens up this whole debate in the future. Kate, still not anywhere. Not at this birth, not at Rebecca's bedside, nowhere. The thing that gives me hope still that she is not dead, and I am still riding this horse, and we're going to put in the horse because we have Dr. Horse. I am still riding this horse.
This is the horse end. Dr. Horse is taking care of.
That's right. We are riding this stallion to the end here, that she is not dead. And the thing that is, again, making me feel this, okay, so we have adult baby Jack is there. His wife is giving birth. His sister is there. Kate is not there. Toby is also not there. And so for me to not have either of the grandparents there for the birth of their grandchild, something's not sitting right with that. I don't think that they're both dead. I don't think that Kate is dead. I don't think that Toby's dead. I don't think anybody's dead. I think that they are either on their way or they're in the other room or something is happening. I still think that the show is just clowning us and playing with us, and they're pulling us along with this. Kate is still alive.
I thought for a while that maybe Kate was dead. I've gotten off that train as of late. I am now. I'm not fully riding the stallion, but I'm watching you ride the stallion at the moment, thinking maybe I can get on board at some point. But I do think there's a good chance that she is that she is still alive. I don't know exactly what the circumstances are for various things. I mean, I will say, if you really want to go down a crazy how could Kate die train here at the moment.
I don't.
Well, this is one thing I kind of thought about, is that what if they didn't actually adopt the sister? Because I looked at that, but maybe Kate actually ends up getting pregnant again and ends up dying in childbirth. Like, that's really dark, and obviously I hope that does not happen, but it's just that the fact that they brought up how it was such a difficult pregnancy, like that makes me a little bit worried about that. But I think you're probably right. I think that Kate and Toby are probably on their way, just sort of like Kevin wasn't at the house yet. I think they're probably in transit. I think we will probably see them at some point in season 5.
Yeah, I just think that there's another reveal that's coming, and I don't know what it is yet. I haven't sort of got my theory around all of it yet, maybe they are playing around with this whole, are Toby and Kate divorced? What's going on there? Maybe they're keeping this away where Toby and Kate are not at adult baby Jack's birth of their grandchild because they don't want to show whether they're together or not, and that's what they're holding back. So they need to keep Kate out of all this future stuff, because if they have her there, then we're gonna know, like, either they're together or they're not, and clearly they're not ready to tell us that yet.
Yeah, they want to keep that away from us for as long as possible. I think that much is clear. It's very bizarre to me, though, that we spent all this time coming up with all these theories that, like, something was gonna happen at the hospital, and it's like there's no mention of friction at all.
Okay, so before we get to the big fight, we are also going to talk about Nikki wearing a wedding ring.
Let's keep avoiding the fight.
Okay, so
Yes.
Nikki is wearing a wedding ring, sitting beside Rebecca's bed. Is he married to Rebecca? That is sort of the thread that they're leaving there. And I mean, there's so many different ways to go with this. I mean, it's possible that with the way that Rebecca's mind has been deteriorating, maybe she thinks that Nikki is Jack. Maybe he's wearing the wedding ring and sort of playing that role for her. Maybe they got married. I mean, where's Miguel? He's not in the future either. And I personally think that Miguel has passed away, but that's for another video. But that's sort of like where we are with this. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go with this. Is he pretending to be married to Rebecca to sort of help her through this time? Is he actually married to Rebecca? Is he married to somebody else? Heck, maybe he's married to Cassidy.
Oh boy, I'm not going to skate on that thin ice of a conversation, and instead, I think more than likely it's a situation, because knowing what This Is Us likes to do, which is really play on the heartstrings, I could easily see it being a situation where Rebecca thinks that Nikki is Jack, and it's sort of playing that part. I mean, I think it all depends on, and this is not to get too dark again, if Miguel dies, when Miguel could potentially die, because does he die, maybe 6 months, a year from where we are right now? And if that's the case, then, there may have been a period of time when Rebecca was still cognitively there, where she could get closer to Nikki and they could form a connection, and maybe something would happen there in the long term. And maybe it's not a incredibly romantic marriage, but maybe it's one based on companionship and a different sort of love.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's possible that as her mind is starting to go on her, I mean, I can't see him or anybody marrying Rebecca during that time while she is deteriorating, because she may not be able to make those types of decisions with a clear mind. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually kind of wondering if this is a situation where the more Rebecca is seeing Nikki around, the more she thinks it's Jack, and that's something that she's holding on to. And maybe Miguel doesn't die, but maybe he sacrifices his marriage and steps away to give Rebecca what she needs.
That's an interesting idea, and because I've said this before, I don't want Miguel to be, the bad guy and just walk away from the situation.
I don't think he will.
I don't think he will. I still think that, as great as I think this finale was, and I think it was really heart-wrenching and beautiful and all these other things, I still think they're doing a bad job with Miguel, and I think it's really disappointing that we're at the end of season 4, and I'm not saying we need a full episode, but how are we not getting scenes where we're actually getting inside Miguel's head as to how he feels about what's going on with his wife? Like, that really bothers me.
I agree. I think that they handled this portion. Now we're going to get to the meat of what we've been avoiding here, which is the fight. So we learned that we know what happened with Rebecca. She agreed to go do this trial, and we saw her make this announcement where she was like, I've made this decision, and me and Miguel are doing blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, I would have liked to have seen that conversation. I want to know why it is that Miguel is kind of just laying down in the background, all the time. Like, I understand that he wants to make it so that he understands that Rebecca's children come first, but that doesn't mean that Miguel doesn't matter too. And he should. He is her husband. This is the choice that they made together to be married. So I was really disappointed in the finale for not giving me that conversation. Didn't have to be the whole episode, but you could have cut out some of Dr. Horse and give me some of that conversation with Miguel, because I think it's really important at this point, and they need to stop dancing around that relationship. You gave us the relationship, now actually give it to us.
Yeah, I feel like, you know that meme of Kermit the Frog who's looking at the Kermit the Frog with like the Sith robe on? I feel like the good Kermit the Frog is like, do a few scenes, This Is Us writers, of Miguel and his thoughts, and then Darth Kermit is like, give them Dr. Horse for 3 minutes. It's like, no, we don't need we need Miguel.
No, we do.
We need to know how he feels about this sort of stuff, because they are married.
He is part of this family.
He is, and I think they really are not doing a good job with that, but I think I know what matters in the sense of the story they're telling in this episode, and I hate that we're talking about. Okay, all right, well,
here we are at the fight. This was all kinds of horrible. They said some things like that. I don't know how they're going to walk this back. And obviously we do see in the future where Randall's at Kevin's house. Kevin puts his hand on his back. But my goodness, they said some things that were just... I was just cringing at these things. I was like, no, stop talking. You guys just need to stop talking. Go inside, Kevin. Walk away, Randall. Guys, awful.
Just walk away.
Both of them, awful. Said awful things.
There is a lot of power in walking away sometimes. It's not. It is a move that would have benefited them both greatly, because they were so emotionally heightened that every single thing they said in that situation was going to be bad. Randall really got himself going with all sorts of horrible things about Kevin, about him not being there around Jack, and then going into Kevin's acting and his career.
Randall went for his throat. Like every angle he could have stripped him down, he did.
I legit thought that Kevin was going to punch him in the face, and that there was going to be like some sort of act. And I'm glad This Is Us didn't do it, because they don't need to go that direction. But I legit thought in that moment, I was like, Kevin is showing a lot of restraint and just standing there and taking it. And I mean, of course, Kevin responds with a blow that is enormous, and one that is just as devastating as anything that Randall says. And I'm grateful they gave us that like 5 seconds of the two of them in the flash forward, because I was just feeling like garbage after this scene. Like, I just felt so sad and drained.
Oh, I was gutted. If they hadn't given us just that 5 seconds of just that hand on Randall's shoulder, I don't know how I was going to make it through this summer waiting to get back to this again, because that was intense. Gorgeous performances from both of these actors. It was so Sterling. I mean, he's always amazing.
Yeah.
Right? But Justin, so amazing. He's always underrated on the show. He has a very difficult character on the show. Kevin is not easy to play, and Justin, really, these two, amazing.
It was probably the most well acted scene of the entire episode, mostly because it was so hard to watch. It's like I can see myself rewatching certain parts of this, because I kind of want to know, okay, I want to know more about Jack's sister, the art gallery woman. I want to know more. I don't need to know more about Dr. Horse, but like other things, I don't need to ever watch that again. I'm good.
No, I agree. It's a sort of one and done, and it reminds me a bit of this movie Requiem for a Dream, which I thought was like, it's an incredible movie, but it is so hard to watch that it is a one and done, where it's like, okay, I'm glad I watched it because it's amazing, but man, I can't go down that road again. And that scene with the two of them, amazing, but I cannot go down that road again. No. That was it for me.
I know this is going to continue for a while in season 5. I think we're kidding ourselves if it doesn't. But I hope that maybe by the mid-season finale, we start to get to the other side of it. But we will talk more about season 5. We have a video coming up on that today, and we'll have a lot more discussions and theories over the next little while. So we're not going to leave you guys hanging. Hopefully you stick around and enjoy some of that. Thank you for watching all these videos this season. The reaction has been very, very kind, and we've had a lot of fun with it. But for the finale, let us know what surprised you, moved you. Are you mad at Dr. Horse? Like, all of these thoughts in the comments. And if you do like this discussion, remember to give us a like, subscribe to the channel. And you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.